All right, so this week is Parshas Behar B'Chukaysai, and we're learning the holy teachings of Reb Tzadok Milaplin and Parshas B'Chukaysai. So this parsha, it starts in B'Chukotai Telecho, and this famous Rashi that what does it mean B'Chukotai Telecho Shetiu Amelim B'Torah? That it's all about being toiling in Torah, being connected to Torah, that having a deep connection to Torah. And I'm really excited to talk about this because it's something that we often overlook. We talk a lot about connecting with God. We talk a lot about emunah. We talk about prayer. We talk about chesed. We talk about just like feeling a higher consciousness. And there's a practical application of this, and that is just very, very simple. That what does Hashem want from you? That on a very simple level, Hashem really, really wants you to be learning Torah. And it's our connection to Torah is something that defines what it means to be Jewish. I always tell people that a critical part of being a religious Jew is setting aside time to learn Torah, and learning Torah is something that it cleanses your soul. So learning something that elevates you, and this is the greatest spiritual experience you can possibly have is learning Torah. And this is better than davening, better than going into meditations. Just learning Torah is your connection to God. And so this is what the Torah is telling us. In B'Chukotai Telechu Shetiu Amelim B'Torah. So B'Chukotai, the main topic of Parshas B'Chukotai is what's called the brachot and klalot. Okay, there's blessings and curses, and this is one of the two places in the Torah that has something called the tochacha. It has something which is called the rebuke of the Torah, where Hashem says that if we don't follow the Torah, so there's going to be horrible curses. And it's in this week's parsha B'Chukaysai, and the second time is in Kitavo. And there's something very, very meaningful about the fact that it's in these two parts. So first of all, there's a difference between this time is in Vayikra, so this is Hashem himself speaking, and the last time is in Devarim, so it's Moshe Rabbeinu speaking. And so there's a word from the Lubavitch Rebbe that he says that how come in this week's parsha there's 39 curses, and in the Kitavo, so 98 curses. So he says that when it's Moshe Rabbeinu speaking, so then that's called the Or Chozer. That's called the reflecting light. And so the reflecting light is double the power of the first light, and so that it's this light is like Hashem glowing down his light upon to us, and then Moshe Rabbeinu is how he understands that, how he interprets that, so it comes back doubly strong. Because that's just an amazing thing to understand about everything that we understand, everything that we comprehend. It's like that when you have a light reflected on a mirror, so the mirror actually makes the light stronger. Shalom. So this is the first light, and this is the first expression of this brachot and klalot, of putting down of what it means, what are the repercussions of connecting to God, and so the first words in the pasuk is like the intro to what is the most basic thing, that everything that brachot and klalot is dependent on, everything that the blessings, that the curses, what's it all dependent on? It's all depending on Torah, and so it's really, this is the most appropriate week to really take for ourselves a time to say, what does it mean? What does Amelos Torah mean to me? What is our connection to toiling in Torah? And it's especially appropriate because before we know it, we're coming to Shavuos, and the truth is that it's specifically we learn the Parshat B'Chukotai every year before Shavuos, because the Gemara tells us that Ezra made an institution that we should read B'Chukotai every year before Shavuos, similar to the fact that we read Kitavo before Rosh Hashanah. Why? Because Tichel Hashanah v'Kedolasa. Because we want the year to end with its curses. All the curses should end, and we should enter a new reality which is curse-free. And so the Gemara says that Rosh Hashanah is obviously a new year, and Shavuos is also a new year, because it says in the Mishnah Rosh Hashanah that Arba Rosh Hashanah, that there's 4 Rosh Hashanahs, and it says that we're being judged on Shavuos for the Perot HaElam, for the fruits of the tree, that the judgment for the fruits is on Shavuot, and so it's appropriate that before Shavuos every single year, so that we should just cleanse ourselves from all the curses. That we should say goodbye, say good riddance to all of the bad news, all of the bad reports, and all of the curses that we've been experiencing. And then Shavuos is going to be a new fresh start. Okay, so obviously these that Ezra is looking at these two turning points in the year. That one is Rosh Hashanah and one is Shavuos, and it's very simple that Rosh Hashanah is the time of the rebirth of our bodies. This is the day that practically that Adam Rishon was created, that he started breathing, and Shavuos is a rebirth for our souls. Okay, so this is like that. Shavuos is a very special day, and it's our connection to Torah, because it's through our accepting the Torah, through our receiving the Torah, through our connecting to Torah, that we're getting our soul for this new year. And this is what Shavuos is really all about. That's why it's a powerful day. It's like to receive the Torah, to say that Hashem, yes, I'm there. I'm showing up. I want you to infuse me with your infinite light, and I want this neshama to really come into my body. So this is what Shavuos is all about. And how do we do it? We do it through Torah. And it is something that I think we don't speak about enough. I was at a meeting like a month ago that with this through this organization that I've spoken about before, that it's called Plukta, that they meet up between Charedim and Chilonim, and so a question that they often ask is like what are they doing in yeshivas? They're always bothered about the fact that people learning yeshivas aren't doing the army, and it's like what are you doing? What's it mean to be in yeshiva? And like in a lot of the secular people, the secular communities, they really think that we're just reading Tehillim all day, and they really don't get what it means, what's practically at all. And so it was very interesting that this last meeting. So there was two Charedim in the group, and the other Charedi, he was he was still Charedi, but he wasn't like a yeshiva guy. He was he didn't have a good yeshiva experience, and he was still trying his best to be in somewhat of a yeshiva environment. He was tutoring in the morning and working in the afternoon, and but when they were asking him what do you what's your tell me about yeshiva, and it hurt me that he was saying it's interesting, it's like mental gymnastics, and it's good. It makes you, they say that Jews make good lawyers because you have to and it was so clear that it's coming from somebody who just didn't like it, and he's feeling guilty about the fact he doesn't like it, and he feel he wishes he could really just leave the whole thing, but he has guilt because what his parents are going to say, what his friends are going to say, and whatever, and so I told him that well, I have a little bit of a different experience, that Torah is the love of my life. Torah is what is it's like oxygen. To me, it's last night I was learning until 1:30 in the morning. This is the thing that makes me that makes me excited. This is the thing that the most amazing enterprise that a person could possibly be doing with his life is learning Torah. And there's the Rambam writes that even though he does he's done so much and he's written books and he's been a doctor and he's but the Torah is his first and only love. He writes the relationship to Torah is meant to be. Relationship to Torah is something which is so much more than a mitzvah. It's so much more than a mitzvah. It's supposed to be something which is oxygen to our lungs. Something which is supposed to be really satisfying us in a way that nothing else can. And so really, this is the opportunity to really talk about what is Torah all about, and what does it mean? What is the Torah instructing us? Shetiu amelim b'Torah, that to be toiling in Torah. So what is this? What is this really all about? So Tzadok starts by quoting a Gemara in Sanhedrin, that the Gemara in Sanhedrin is discussing a verse in Eov, that the verse says that Adam la'amal yulad. Adam la'amal yulad. So it says that a person was created. Creation was born to work. He was born to toil. So the Gemara asks, what's the toil that we're supposed to? What's the amal that we're born for? So maybe it's amal melacha. Maybe it's amal melacha. Maybe it's the toil of physical labor. And the Gemara says that no, it can't be that. We have another verse that says it's something else. And it says that no, maybe it's amal sicha. Maybe it's the toil. It's the toil of communication. And and then there's a final opinion in the Gemara that it's referred to amal Torah, so the toil of Torah. So Tzadok writes that what are these three options in the Gemara? That's amal malacha, amal sicha, and amal Torah. So when it says amal malacha, that the Gemara couldn't have thought that the person was created to work a 9-to-5 job. It can't be. It can't be that you're born to be a program manager, that you were born to be an accountant, that you're born to be an entrepreneur, that you're born to whatever you're doing, whatever to like come on, like Chazal weren't so out of it. Like they knew that life is about something holy. Like you got to do what you got to do. Like there's nothing against working. We should all work. We should all make parnasa. But like it's not the point. It's not the point. It's like oy vavai to a person that thinks that his job is the point. You're like it's a sickness. It's the people that don't realize that I don't live to work. I work to live. It's mamish, like it's a shame. It's like it's so unfortunate that when people don't appreciate that I have a life. Like my work is not my life. I have things. I can have fun. I'm allowed to have fun. I'm supposed to have fun. I'm supposed to invest in my family. I'm supposed to invest in myself. I'm supposed to. So Chazal couldn't have thought that the thing that pays the bills is what we're born for. Okay, we're born, and this is all part of galut. This is all part of the fact that we're in exile. It's a part of the fact that part of the sin of the tree of knowledge. It's all of this like that we're cursed that we have to work to make a living. But Chazal couldn't have thought that's the point, right? So what does it mean amal malacha? When they say amal malacha, they mean that gemilut chasadim. They must have meant that amal malacha is the toil of doing acts of kindness, and that makes sense. That makes sense. That doing acts of kindness, that is the most amazing thing that you could do, to do a favor to another Jew, to help people in the world. That my life is for others. That my life is constantly giving. My life is constantly helping other people have better lives. So of course that makes sense. So when they say amal malacha, so they absolutely shalom. So it's been a while. Good to see you. So when they said amal malacha, so they absolutely meant that chesed is a beautiful thing. And so then what's the next thing? That amal sicha, that the toil of communication. So what's the toil of communication? So this must be a reference, Reb Tzadok says, to prayer. Because sicha, the sicha literally means communication, but sicha is one of the words that the Torah uses in reference to prayer, to davening. Because it says, Tfilah la'ani ki atav v'lifnei Hashem mishpoch sicha. It talks about pouring out your conversation before Hashem. It talks about Yitzchak Avinu. That vayetze Yitzchak lasuach basadeh. That this is the first. He was the first hitbadatot. That Yitzchak was just having a conversation with Hashem in the field, and this is when it says sicha. So the sicha of Yitzchak was absolutely prayer. So this is the second option in the Gemara was that maybe we're created for the amal of sicha because like davening is also it's hard work. Like davening is not easy. I was talking to somebody about one of the shuls in the neighborhood. So it's very heavy davening there. It's very meditative. It's very slow, and it's like it's not for me. I appreciate I love them, and it's like it's a great place and it's great people. But it's like you come out of there like, wow, that was a good workout. It was like you feel drained. You feel like that your mamish like you've been like this it's like very very and so you really feel like that's like avodah shabalev. Like I was working, I was toiling in my prayer, and that's the second option. And then the third option that it says that amal Torah. The third thing is amal Torah, is toiling in Torah. And so Tzaddik writes that these are the three options. That really, when they were talking about what does it mean adam loml, like what was the toil that we were born for? Either we were toiling, we were born to toil to do kindness to people and to help people out, or we're born in order to toil in prayer, or we're born to toil in Torah. So he says these are actually corresponding to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, because Avram is corresponding to Chesed, and Yitzchak is corresponding to prayer, and Yaakov. So we know that he was corresponding to Torah. That he was the one who was learning yeshiva for 14 years, and he's the one of the avos that is most associated with learning Torah, with emes, with truth. And so Reb Tzaddik writes that the truth is that there's faults to chesed, there's faults to prayer, and Torah, there's something that is faultless about it, and that is that when a person's doing chesed, so that's Abraham's midah. So we know that from Abraham came Ishmael. Okay, so like Abraham, even though he was holy, but there's something unholy that came out of him. Okay, because when you're doing chesed, so then it's possible that you're going to take it to a bad place. You're going to take this chesed, you're going to take the acts, the fact that I'm trying to help other people, and you can try to make a business out of it, and there's something like there's a lot of gemachs in Yerushalayim, and so like sometimes these gemachs, like they aren't really gemachs. They're like you can borrow this drill for only 50 shekel a day, and hey, why is it a gemach? So you could I'm sure he started with good intentions, but eventually he said, this is going to be like a side gig. What do you mean by gemach? It's supposed a gemach is supposed to be a free loan thing that you can borrow things, and so a person could start with good intentions, and it ends up being the what's in it for me, and with davening, a person could start with davening. Yitzchak, so he was very holy, but from Yitzchak came Esav, and so he says because in prayer also that there's something that you can take prayer to a bad place. You can take prayer to a bad place, and sometimes prayer can take upon itself like a form of whining. Sometimes a person can stop realizing that he's supposed to be connecting and start complaining to Hashem, and certainly it can take a bad place when you start asking Hashem to take down all of your enemies, and just be like a bash fest. And
that's what Shimshon did.
That's true. I mean, I think that was exceptional. Those were really bad guys. We're certainly supposed to be davening that Hashem should destroy the Palestinians, the Plishtim, we should go follow Shimshon, right? And but a person could take it. He could take davening as an opportunity to just whine to Hashem and tell Hashem to just take care of all the people he doesn't like. But Torah is emet. Torah is emet. And what's special about Torah is that the Torah is perfect. And if you're connected to Torah, so then it's that there's no risk involved. If you're going to be involved in Torah, so the hour that you spend learning Torah, so is the best hour you could have spent. It's the best invested time. That there's no, like with davening, a person could like go to the kotel and say, "Well, that was such a bad davening. Like, what a waste of time. What a waste of like Hashem knows I tried. You know, like a person could try chesed and like he puts together a whole program and like nobody shows up and like, whoa, what a waste of money, what a waste of effort. And with Torah, you open up a book and there's no waste of time. And so first of all, on a simple level, so there's a famous idea from the Chafetz Chaim, that he says that when he says that we say that there's a prayer. It's called Tfilas B'Techillah B'Nikanim. So it says, we say this by a siyum. It says, Anu Amelem V'Hem Amelem, that we toil and they toil. Anu Amelem V'Makablim Sachar V'Hem Amelem V'Edem Makablim Sachar. We toil and we get reward, and they toil and they don't get reward. So everybody asks, what's it mean? They toil and they don't get reward. Of course they get reward. Everybody gets reward. You know, you work and you get your paycheck, right? So what's it mean that we toil and we get reward? They toil, they don't get the reward. So the Chafetz Chaim said that the toil that we're talking about is a toil that you're trying to understand something, and it didn't work. You went to the shir, and you just didn't get it. And it didn't you didn't understand. You didn't understand you didn't understand the question. You didn't understand the answer. It's just you opened the Chumash and you tried to read some sukkim and you ask yourself, okay, what did I learn? And you're not really sure. You're not really sure what you learned.
Didn't resonate with it.
So certainly it didn't resonate. I'm saying it's even worse than that. I'm saying that like somebody asks you like, what did you learn? Then like I used to have this by that I used to go to a tzaddik by the name of Tzvi Meyer Zilberberg, and so I was talking about this recently that he does like he has a shashudis and he talks and like he gives it to Torah and he's very emotional and it's like it's an amazing experience, like everything. It's like 500 600 people there and like it's dark and there people are just very very into it. They're singing together and they're and he says it to Torah and like he's crying and he's shouting and he's and like sometimes like so I would come home and my wife would ask me like, what do you talk about? And he says like, I don't know. But it was so good. It was like I just feel like a different person. I feel transformed. I feel like now I'm ready for another week of life. Now I'm ready to serve Hashem. Now I'm ready to now I really want to be a Jew. And it was I can't tell you, like he wasn't talking to my brain, he was talking to my heart. And so like that's what it means. Anu Amelem Makablim Sachar. The Chafetz Chaim says it's talking about a situation that a person is trying and he goes and even if you didn't get anything, even if you're the part of your brain that wants you to have a output, the part of your brain that wants you to have results. So it's saying, no, look, what do you have to say for your time? That part of your brain is like saying, like, I don't get it, you're wasting your time. So Chafetz Chaim says that we get reward for that. We get reward for that because the mere fact that we're just connecting with Torah, the mere fact that the Torah is going through our system, so that itself has relevance. Okay, so what is this relevance? What is the relevance of just Torah just going through our system? That it makes sense to say that even just trying makes a difference. So there's a beautiful midrash that I once heard. I once heard this from Hershel Schachter, that he said from the name of Soloveitchik, that he explained this midrash. The midrash says that there's once a king that he asked his servants to do a certain chore, that there was a bunch of flasks they're supposed to be flasks of water, and he told them, take these flasks and here's a basin of water. I want you to fill the flasks with water and take the water to the other side of the field. So all of them started doing it, and so but very quickly they realized that there's holes in the flasks. So like they would start to bring the water to the other side, and like before they got halfway through, like all the water fell through. So they said like there must have been a misunderstanding here. Like well, we can't bring the water to the other side because there's holes in the flasks. So most of the servants, so they gave up and they said like probably the king was made a mistake. But there was one servant. They said, I don't ask questions. The king wanted me to do this. I'm going to do it. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? At the end, he'll say that I tried. And so at the end of the day, so the king comes back, and he sees that he sees that most of the stuff is still there because he was only one guy. And so he says, what's going on? So they say, His Highness, you made a mistake. You didn't realize that the flasks had holes. So we figured that you obviously made a mistake. If you give us better flasks, then we'll be happy to do it. So the king said, you're a bunch of fools. You think I didn't know that these flasks had holes? I had no intention you should bring the water to the other side. That's not like I have enough water. That's not the point. These were dirty flasks. And I wanted you to put the water into the flask, that the water should go through the flask, and they should clean out the flask, get out all of the dirt and all the filth. And that was the point. That was the whole point. And you, because you just didn't listen to me, so off with all of your heads. And he, because he listened to me, he's a loyal servant, so now he's going to be a higher minister. And no, I'm just making that up. But the point is that the Midrash says that this is what Hashem has in mind when he says when he tells us to learn Torah. So a person could be very frustrated with coming to learning Torah, and he says he says to himself, like, what's the point? Like when I come home after a class and my friends ask me like, what'd you learn? And they say, I'm not sure. And like I learn, I say I'm going to do a chavrusa, and like I do a parak a day, and like every day, like the next day I forget. There's a joke. It says by the Siyam Masachet. So it says Yom Hazeh v'yar l'shechacha. But you should say this. You should say the hadron. Say that. Say Yom Hazeh v'yar l'shechacha. So there's a joke. What's it mean? What's it mean that you should say this and it should help you for forgetting? So, because every page, so when you finish the page, then you turn the page, and then by turning the page, you forget the page. But you get to the last page, so then you never turn the page. So how do you forget? It says Yom Hazeh v'yar l'shechacha. So that really means that you should say this and help you not to forget. But a person is frustrated that he learns and he forgets, and he feels like he's not getting anywhere. He feels like what's the point? And it's like I don't see that this is getting me anywhere. And Hashem is telling you that you don't get it. That it's really not about how much you remember. It's really not about how much you can spit back. The mere fact that the words of Torah were going through your head for even one moment, so it cleansed you. It made you into a different person. And Rabbi Nachman, so he starts his Torah. The very first piece in the Likutei Moharan is Rabbi Nachman's Ode to Torah. Okay, it's Rabbi Nachman's. It's like really an intro to his entire teachings, because the whole Likutei Moharan is the Torahs of Rabbi Nachman, and so his first piece in the Likutei Moharan is his Ode to Torah, and he writes over there that through learning Torah, the person receives chen, the person receives grace, the person just becomes a more graceful person, and grace, you should know, is the most important thing that we need in this world. Grace is the thing that Rabbi Nachman writes there. Grace is what opens up all of the doors. A person that all of that everything that we need from anybody, any job that we need, any connection that we need, any investment, any kind of favor that we need from anybody. So the greatest factor in whether or not they're going to see us is how much grace we have, how much chen we have. And so Rabbi Nachman writes that based on the Gemara, that the Torah gives the person chen. That the Gemara says in Erevin that it's called Ayelet Ahavim v'Yalas Chen. The Torah is called a gazelle of love, and a dough of love. And the Gemara says, what's it mean ya'alat chen? Ya'alat chen is ma'alat chen alam deha. That the more Torah you learn, the more chen you have. That after learning Torah, you become just a more graceful person. You become just like just a little bit sweeter, a little bit like shinier, a little bit just more graceful, and so the Torah transforms us in ways that we can't explain intellectually, in ways that we can't explain cerebrally. That the Torah is simply having an effect on us. So how does this actually work? How does this actually work? So this is a famous teaching from the Tanya. The Tanya writes in the 5th chapter that what's actually so special about learning Torah. So there's a famous thing. There's a famous thing that the Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam, that we say the Talmud Torah is like it's worth all the other mitzvahs put together. It's like why is Torah so special? So the Baal Tanya says that the reason why Torah is so special is because what is Torah? What is Torah? So Torah is the wisdom of Hashem. So Torah is the wisdom of God, and so God is infinite, right? So really, His wisdom is also infinite. But the truth is that it's even more than that, because the Rambam writes that God is one, right? Hashem Echad. So he writes like this: that there's a difference between the way that human beings connect to information and the way that God connects to information. What is that? I was me before I learned anything, right? Before I knew anything, I was a tabula rasa, and I was me. And then I learned stuff, and then I became me with the stuff that I learned, with my new information. And if one day I forget something, so then I'm still me. And the fact that I forget things, that I gain things, I learn things, that doesn't affect who I am. Who I am and what I know is two completely different things. Whereas by God, so it's impossible to talk like that, because God is one. So God and His knowledge can't be two separate things. So the Rambam writes that hu hamada v'hu hayodeh, that the knowledge and the knower are actually one. Because God doesn't receive knowledge from anywhere else. God doesn't ask ChatGPT, could you teach me something I don't know? And He's the source of everything. Maybe He is ChatGPT. But because He can't learn from anywhere external, so of course everything He knows is inherent. So if it's inherent, so then it must be part and parcel of Him Himself. So if God's knowledge is part and parcel of Him Himself, so when you're connecting to the wisdom of God, you're actually connecting to God Himself. And this, says the Tanya, is why learning Torah far surpasses any other mitzvah that you could possibly do, because every other mitzvah, so you're following the rules, you're listening to Hashem's mitzvahs, it's an amazing thing that you're a good servant. It's amazing things that you're doing what Hashem wants, and you're connecting on a real level by the fact that you're His loyal servant. But there's something different that happens when you're learning Torah. When you're learning Torah, you're simply downloading God's essence. It's a unity. You become one with God in a way that nothing else can make you just connect with God in that way. It's even greater than Torah, than the prayer, because Torah, I'm speaking to God, I'm connecting, I'm having a dialogue with God. But when I'm learning Torah, so I'm simply injecting myself, I'm downloading God. Yeah.
But when you're learning Torah, it's only for yourself, and if you're doing mitzvot for other people, I would think that's a greater, like in that way, you're bringing godliness into the world and spreading out. Why isn't it equally as important?
Some mitzvahs, you're talking about chesed specifically, right?
Mitzvahs that include helping other people.
Helping other people is chesed. for sure. So when he says that it's Keneged Kulam, what he means is in the amount of connection that you have. We're absolutely not saying that you should only learn all day and you shouldn't help other people. The Gemara says the opposite. But once a year, before Shavuos, so it's important to remember that learning is also important. The Gemara says in Kiddushin that Abaye and Rava, so they both had a certain curse on them for a certain reason. They were descendants of Eli, but they were able to outdo this curse because of their merits. And one of them lived to the age of 40, one of them lived to the age of 60. And the Gemara asks, what's the difference? That the one that lived to the age of 40, it's because he was very much engrossed in Torah, and that's how he overcame that curse. And the one that lived to 60, it's because he did also Torah and also Chesed. So of course, of course, we're supposed to be doing Chesed.
It just sounds like you're saying an hour of learning is more important than an hour of Chesed, but I don't know.
I didn't say it's more important. I said that it's a greater connection to God.
You said it's the best way you could spend your hour.
I did say that, but what I said was that it's pure gain. It's there's zero risk involved. That when you're learning Torah, that it's 100% profit, and we're doing Chesed, so then like there's a risk involved.
Right. I mean, there's no potential to do anything else, but what you're trying to do then is to connect. So,
okay.
For what you want.
We absolutely need all three. We have three avot. We have three avot, and we need to follow all three of them. We absolutely need to do chesed. We absolutely need to do prayer, but we also have to do Torah. And like this is, like we can't like once a year. It's like we need to know that Torah is amazing. We need to know that Torah is awesome in the fact that it makes us that to invest in ourselves, to invest in our connection to God, is something that there's nothing that can do a better job in transforming us. That doesn't mean that that's your mission in life, but it's something that can't be overlooked. It's something that can't be ignored. That we have an obligation to energize ourselves, to inject ourselves with everything that Torah has to offer, and that's why it shouldn't be belittled. Like people that are spending time, people that are taking a year in seminary, people taking a year in yeshiva, people that are taking time, you're going to get to a time in life that you're going to need to fight for learning Torah. That like life's going to be very, very busy, and it's not going to be something to be taken for granted that you could have an hour for. And so we need to remind ourselves that like this is not just like a entertaining way to spend our hour. This is something that I'm injecting myself with divinity, and this is transforming me, and this is making me a better person to be able to do my mission in the better way, to be able to do the chesed in the best way possible, to be able to daven in the best way possible. And like you need to be a well-rounded person, and you can't be a well-rounded person without Torah.
Would it be correct to say that Torah is the most basic, most essential thing that you need, which would give you the ability to do everything else in a better way? But basically it would make you better, it would transform you, it would give you more grace, as you said, and with what it would give you, you can do all the other mitzvot much better. You can do much more chesed for other people, you can do it in the right way,
I agree.
It would make you a better person, make you more powerful in doing everything else.
I agree. There's 2 points. There's 2 points in how Torah affects chesed. So you said that it can help you do it in a better way. So there's really two ways that it makes you do it in a better way. The first way is practically. It's practically that if you learn Torah, then you know what it means to make the world into a better place. And if you don't learn Torah, then you could be very mixed up. And if you don't learn Torah, you could put all of your efforts into the wrong causes. And then the chesed, you want to do chesed. So because you want to do chesed, so you open up an organization that the purpose of the organization is for people that have more than 3 dogs and they need help taking care of their 4th and 5th dogs. And that's your mission in life, to help people with the 3rd and 4th dogs. And you're coming from a family where they taught you that animals are just as important as people, and that's like what's like why is your life more important than the life of a dolphin, and that's the values that's how he wants to fix the world, by helping people with their. And you could have a person that the chesed that they're going to do is to help this politician, that he's going to, because they're sure that if this politician is going to make it, that's going to change the world, and the Torah gives you just a basis, a basis of make sure that your head is screwed on right. Make sure that you know, like you need to take care of people that are in pain. You need to take care of the abused. You need to take people who are hungry, people who are homeless, and just make sure your head is screwed on right, right? And so that's one element of how to do it in the better way, in the best way. And the halacha actually has criteria of like what's the priority. Like what do I do? If I have this much money and I have two people in need, so how do I prioritize between them? Like the Torah actually gives you like a way to prioritize, like when we have difficult decisions to make, and that's number one. But number two is, and I think this is actually what you meant, that the person that learns Torah, so then when they go and do Chesed, so then it takes a different form to it. That when a person is doing Chesed, when a person is full of Torah, so then when they go and do Chesed afterwards, so then they're bringing God into the picture, meaning that a person could do Chesed out of selfishness. A person could do Chesed because it makes them feel good to help others, because they feel like a loser and they feel that the only thing that gives them meaning is to help other people, and it's better than not helping other people. But if you first connect with God, and after connecting with God, because you know that Hashem wants me to help other people, so that's why I'm helping other people. So then your chesed is much more elevated. In fact, I gave a class a couple of weeks ago about how actually I think it was here. I think in the class about V'ahavta L'recha Kamecha, that how really when a person is doing acts of chesed, he's actually fulfilling Hashem's original desire of creation. Because really the Hashem's desire of creation was to bestow goodness upon the creation, and when a person is doing acts of chesed because Hashem wants him to, so what's he actually doing? He's being Hashem's ambassador to fill the world with goodness. So he's actually helping Hashem fulfill that primal desire, that primal motivation of creation, of Hashem wants to fill the world with goodness. So when I'm connected to his desires and I'm doing it for him, so then I'm actually helping him with his ultimate goal. And so as opposed to a person that he just likes the feeling, like it makes me feel good when I give $5 to a homeless person, it makes me feel good. So then like you're divorcing Hashem from the picture. So the chesed itself is on a higher level when you're connecting with Hashem. Okay, so it's certainly true. So it's certainly true that there are. It's certainly true that the Torah affects the chesed that we do. The last point that I want to speak about is that when we're talking about Shavuos, we're talking about our receiving the Torah. So there's midrashim that talk about the receiving of the Torah as like a wedding. As like they talk about the tablets as being like a wedding ring that Hashem gave us, and they talk about the Har Sinai as being like a chuppah, and so they describe it like a wedding going on. So it's a fascinating metaphor. That there's a midrash that says that Hashem came forward to us like a chassan walking to greet his kala, and so it talks about receiving the Torah. It talks about receiving the Torah as like a wedding, as a love story between Hashem and the Jewish people, and so it's a very interesting thing. Like, why is that? Like, how is Torah Torah a wedding? How's Torah receiving the Torah? Like it would. If we ask most people, how would you view the fact that we receive the Torah? They would say, okay, now I have a lot of jobs to do. Like maybe it's a good job, maybe it's the best job, but like I just like, hey mom, Mazel Tov, I just got a new job. Now I have, like, I used to be that I can just like go to the beach all day, and now like I get paid to put on tefillin in the morning. I get paid to go to respect my parents. I get paid to help. What I get paid to blow shofar. And I have all these jobs, and instead the midrash looks. This is not a new job. This is a new wife. A wife is also a job, but this is a relationship. And so what's the deal with this? So I once had a question that it says that there's a bracha we say in the morning, Birkat Torah, right? So the Gemara says an interesting thing. What if you forget to say Birkat Torah? So the Gemara says that you don't say it again. You don't say it after davening. If you daven, you don't say it after davening. Why? Because you fulfill Birkat Torah with Avarabba. With Avarabba. So what's Avarabba? Avarabba is the bracha we say before Shema, and at the end of the bracha. So in the bracha it talks about Torah. So it's like we say Hashem, please enlighten our eyes with your Torah, and fill our heart. And it's all about the Hashem. Please put my heart, bina lahavin lahaske loml loml. It's all. We're asking Hashem to be able to connect with Torah. But at the very end of the bracha, what does it say? It says, that thank you Hashem, that blessed you Hashem for choosing the Jewish people with love. And like at the end of the bracha, it doesn't say a word about Torah. How can you call this a Birkat Torah? It doesn't say a word about Torah. So it hit me that apparently that's Torah. Apparently, what does it mean that Hashem chose the Jewish people with love? It means He gave us the Torah. It's the definition of the word, because the purpose of Torah is love. The purpose of Torah is the way to express our being obsessed with Hashem, to being completely in love with Hashem, is through Torah. And there's something that I saw in the Rambam as well, that the Rambam talks about at the end of Hilchos Tshuva, that he says that there's different levels, there's different ways of being Jewish. That some people do mitzvahs from yirah, from fear, and some people do mitzvahs mi'ahava, from love. So, and he says, of course, it's more ideal to do mitzvahs from love. And then he says an interesting thing. When a person learns Torah from fear, that's called learning Torah shelo lishma. And when a person learns Torah from love, that's called learning Torah lishma. So it's a very, it bothered me, what the Rambam is saying. Why does he need these new names? Just say the same thing. If you learn Torah, Torah is also a mitzvah. When you learn Torah from fear, that's called learning Torah from fear. What's the Rambam saying? So until I thought about what's it mean, lishma, for its purpose. So when you learn Torah out of fear, you're learning Torah not for its purpose. When you're learning Torah from love, you're learning Torah for its purpose. Meaning that the entire purpose of Torah was that we should be able to engage with God, we should be able to be obsessed with God, we should be able to, it's like we should feel, when we're learning Torah, we should feel like we're embracing somebody that we really love, and just not allowing ourselves to end the hug. Just like we have to keep on hugging, keep on, and the more, just one more line. This is too sweet. I can't put this down. And like the feeling of connection that we were meant to feel when we're learning Torah is supposed to be a feeling of two lovers, of just I'm so obsessed, I'm so connected. And that's why God infused His essence into the words of the Torah, that hu amadav hu yadeh, like the Rambam says, that when we're learning Torah, so we're actually injecting ourselves with divinity. So it's because this is the way that we were meant to really express our obsession, being our just being infatuated with God, being just are completely in love with God, and this is really the way it was meant to be. So this is what Torah was supposed to be. This is what Torah was meant to be. That that one of the ultimate things that we're put in this world for is our relationship with Hashem. And this is something that what Neshama was saying about Chesed versus Torah, I think like you said, it's selfish. So this is something that we need to always remember, that our first responsibility is to Hashem. Hashem wants us to be responsible for the entire world. He does. But at the end, we have to answer to Hashem. And meaning that it's a dance. Like our entire life is gonna be this balance between doing our mission and being connected. And at the end of the day, we die, and then it's just us and Hashem. And Hashem is always going to be asking us, like, what did you do about your being connected? What did you do about your relationship with me? And so we can't forget either. We can't forget either. And the Torah is telling us that in terms of solidifying your relationship with Hashem, in terms of making sure that your soul is really connected, so that's where Torah comes in. So I bless us all that we should really be able to accept the Torah and receive the Torah and really appreciate the Torah and see the love of the Torah, feel the love of the Torah. We should feel Hashem's embrace in every word of the Torah. We should feel Hashem's kisses in every word that we learn. And to know that it's there, and to believe that it's there. And if we know that it's there, and we believe that it's there, then we'll feel that it's there. And then it'll have the effect that it was meant to have on us. And it'll cleanse us and just make us more graceful, make us more holy. And it'll give us the headspace. It'll give us the mentality. It'll give us the ability to really to complete our missions in life in all areas. B'ezrat Hashem.
Amen.